Hello and welcome back to the Field 3 stream. My name is Sean Colfer and I'll be here with you for the rest of the day. Those of you who are watching Field 3, I'll be here for this game and for the next game. We are about to see Box against JetSet LUV. Box from Vienna in Austria. JetSet LUV, the local team from Leuven, who will be hoping that home advantage is going to give them an edge here. Two teams so far have had pretty similar tournaments. Box lost in their quarterfinal 15-9 to Shout. They've also lost to Yaka and Jinx in the pool, but they did beat Iceni. Whereas JetSet lost to Moon Cup in a very close all-Belgian affair, 14-13 that game. Lost to East Block and lost to Shout in the pool, and then lost to Jinx in their quarterfinal. So in the 5-8 bracket here, JetSet looking for their first win, and Box looking to get back on the horse with their second. The other side of this particular bracket is East Block from the Czech Republic, from East Bohemia against Iceni from London. And we start out with a zone. Playing zone offense right out the bat. Or right out the gate, right off the bat. You can hear it's still pretty windy out there. And it's hanging up, and that is exactly why you play a zone. Big block for Box. And that is a immediate shot to the end zone, and it's double happiness straight away. The zone option. That is why you play it. And Box 1-0 up. Mona Shake knocking it away and going deep immediately. And Box find themselves 1 up almost immediately. I mean, we were. It says on the score sheet a minute, but we were not far into that game at all. So, a tough start for JetSet. As they look to notch their first win of the tournament. Box, who were at this tournament last year, finished 6th. These two teams in pretty similar positions with the ranking, although the score is quite different. At the moment, we have JetSet in 12th with a score of 67, record of 4-3 on the season. Box in 11th, only one place ahead, but a score of 118. So, fairly big difference between the two. JetSet will be looking to narrow that gap and try and get further up the rankings as they try and qualify for EUCS. But Box sticking with this zone. And Box are now out of that zone, but that is hanging up. Nice layout catch to save possession. And JetSet now looking to move with a little more freedom. Nice break. Good shot to the end zone. Is that going to get there? It will get there. It's a nice score. Looked like the Box player is going to be in position to knock that away, but Floor Van Dam is able to motor past her and take it anyway. So 1-1. And after a tough first point, LUV dealt with that zone much better and have put it away for A 1-1 score. So for those of you who were watching the last game, I was talking about the mixed division. We watched Lemmings win there. We're waiting to see who they're playing in the semi-final. There was unfortunately an injury in that game between Deep Space and Reading, which took some time. In the other semi is going to be Seskadistas from France against Nulat from Germany. As we see the Box O-line for the first time. Box moves to this near side again. JetSet doing a 3-person cup type zone. Trying to limit Box. That's Obermeyer on the disc. Obermeyer all the way across the field. Box not necessarily making any meters here, but they seem pretty comfortable. Obermeyer with a nice catch above her head. Goes deep with a pinpoint shot. And then a throw into the end zone. Maybe a little more difficult than that catch needed to be in the end, but a really nice offensive point from Box there. They just took what was open, kept the disc moving, and in the end, Brandl found Sailor for a score. So both teams really relying on a zone in the early offing here. JetSet with a bit more of a passive zone, 3-person cup, just trying to make Box move the disc from side to side, trying to shut down the downfield options. Box with a chase and then a 3-person wall. A bit more aggressive, trying to get more bodies around the disc, trying to force a turnover in the space around the handlers. JetSet kind of more looking to push Box wide and try and force an error there. Ball comes up and we are back in with LUV's O-line. And now we're in a kind of an arrowhead zone from Box. 1 chase and 2 points, trying to stop everything through the middle. But it is seemingly an arrowhead with an assassin because we have 1 wing there just following someone around. Is that Della Fortri? And we're in match now. So both teams trying to change things up, make their opponents think, make their opponents have to make difficult throws, take a lot of options. We saw in the last game, disconnection made to think, started to make errors later in the game. But LUV dealing with this well. Very experienced team. A lot of really good disc handlers in this team. As I say that, throw just too far in front. Inside option was definitely the right one, but Piron can't quite execute. And the Box D-line is going to look for a second break of the game. Resetting right at the front of the stack there. Nice cut out of the stack. They're making these big shapes and getting good yards. But it's a nice force that makes the resetting very difficult. Oh, great layout catch to save possession there. Box a little messy. Not quite formed back into the structure they need to be. Lovely break throw though. That break throw opens up the field. Schnadel now. Another nice inside. And another nice inside. These inside throws are absolutely killing LUV. And then a cut out of the stack. Just in front of the mark. It ends up being a pretty easy catch for Krivda. But the easy catch for Krivda was created by very nice inside throws by several of the Box players there. Rottenstein in particular having a very nice point in that last one. As Box's D-line is suggesting that they are going to be a tough matchup for this LUV O-line. LUV have made EUCF a few times before. A good team, as I say, a lot of players who play for Belgian teams, mixed, women's, masters mixed. A lot of very talented players on this team, but Box, I would say more recent pedigree at the top of the European game. Box, I believe, beat Shout at EUCF last year in their first game. Shout, who, as I'm sure most of you watching know, went on to win EUCF with a pretty dominant performance in the knockout rounds. So a great win there for Box. They have that in them. But it's the consistency, I suppose, is the thing they're going to be really looking to improve on this year as they come back out with this zony look. LUV forced into a backwards throw, and it looks like that was fairly close by the defender. And LUV looking for something, but there's really very little on here, and the blade over the top is the only option, and it's turned out quite nicely. The give and go is open. That's turned down. Instead, we're coming back into the teeth of this D. Not much open, but it's a great inside throw. Disc with Bruns. Bruns looking for something. Doesn't have much open. That's a nice throw as well. Another situation where there was not a huge amount on. So the only thing you can do there is try and execute a hard throw. And when you execute a hard throw well, there's not much that the D can always do about it. There's a nice score for LUV. Ek to Desmet. And it is 3-2 to Box. But Box with those two early breaks. They are very clearly in the ascendancy here. We're seeing their O-line for only the second time. As they look to go out and push their advantage. So, LUV, got to try and come out and make an impression on this Box O-line. Pull comes up. And Box get a pass off early. And it is this three-person cup again for LUV. Slightly off target throw there, but corralled comfortably. JetSet make that slightly more aggressive. They move someone forward, but they left a spot in behind them. And now Box are able to move it pretty quickly. They've got a player open right in the center there. Moving it across the field. And that's open just outside the end zone. Right on the front corner now. Again, they've got a reset back. Oh, lovely cut. But good poach at the front. Looks like a pick called. So Rottensteiner sends it back across the field. So not much talking going on. I'm not 100% sure what's going on here, but okay, the disc is coming back in now. Box trying to win in a very small space there, and it ends up being a great catch on a layout. Again, another one that was maybe slightly harder than it needed to be, perhaps, by the throw. But a good catch by Ninaus from Rottensteiner's throw. And Box are 4-2 up. You hear LUV chanting LUV, trying to get their players back up and hyped for the next point. So using the ratings part of the EUF website to see what the rankings say the score should be between these two teams. And the expected score is 15 to 14.82. Win for Box. Never seen a 0.82 scoreline before, but that sounds very close. So hopefully we're in for a good one here, and Love can come back into it. And Love just taking an aggressive shot over the top of the zone. And that turns out to have been a pretty good idea because it was open and caught on the front corner. Varek with another assist, this time to Kromhik. Kromhik just went straight down the field, straight past the deep. They split the deep. There was a person on each side. And Varek was just able to put it out in front for a pretty quick score. That is certainly the easiest that the offense has looked for Love, who've been struggling slightly up to this point. And it looks like there is a timeout. So I will take this opportunity to, again, refill my water. A lot of talking. Voice needs some taken care of. So I'll refill my glass and I'll be back with you in the next 30 seconds or so. The teams resumed play a little quicker than I expected, so I missed that first turnover. That is the first turnover for this Box O-line. So JetSet with an opportunity here to get back into the game. Right on the front of their own end zone. Oh, look at that. Split the stack. Lesson wide open. Nice play. That's Peters with the disc. Looking for an option here. And finds one on the sideline. Van Dam back to Peters. Peters again going every other here. Goes to the end zone. Oh, great catch. Great catch under pressure. Bruins dished it back to Peters. And Peters with the expansive shot into the end zone for Van Dam. And that is a break to bring Love back to 4-4. They are still a breakdown. They started the game on offense. But now we are back on an even footing. JetSet's D-line getting the job done there. Timeout clearly working for them. They called a timeout there to collect themselves and talk about what they needed to change on that defensive point. And after the turn, they executed very well. So Love, having got that break back, kind of starts the game really, I think, when both teams have got a break. both teams have got a break. It kind of opens the game up and means that everybody is really ready to go and knows what they can do and knows they can have an impact on the other team. So Box now. Oh, and Box. I was about to say Box now need to get back in their execution position and try and like really put this one away, and instead try a reset and Love knock it away. And now they have a short field to bring this game back to serve. Good reset D, but that is a shot into the end zone. Looks like the foot was just on the line for that catch. There is a reset if needed. Not now though, and there's a call somewhere. Not immediately clear what this call is, but play has stopped. Inside throw into traffic, but it doesn't matter because Kromhecker gets her hands on it, and Verrett gets her third assist of the game. And JetSet now, post timeout, are the ones in the ascendancy, and in response, Box call their own timeout. So I'm going to take a quick break while they talk about what they need to change. And now we are at 5-4 to Love. We'll be back in a moment. So, Box now out on offense to try and get themselves back on track. Nice throw, nice catch there. Puts them into Love's half. Moving it with a bit more crispness. Good reset. Across the field, but Obermeier's not going to be able to catch up to that one, and it's just too far in front of the cutter as well. Angle on that reset, not quite right. And that is another turnover for Box that Love will look to take advantage of. Not huge amount happening for Love here. As I say that, Bruns goes back and gets it. Nice inside throw. It's a good catch as well. Work down the break side. Van Dam now goes to down the field, and that's going to be going just out. That's a shame for Van Hemmelrich because there was space there, but just pushing it too far with that lefty backhand out the side of the field. It was never going to come back in. And Box will have it just a bit up the field as De La Futry marks Obermeier. Obermeier with the break back into the field. De La Futry goes into poach, and instead the throw goes over the top to Obermeier. Look for a moment as though Peters was going to get in there, and Obermeier goes deep. That deep shot looks to be on the money, and it is. Great catch. Great throw, great catch. For Box. Catty Schneidel Schnedel. My pronunciation is going to be terrible, I'm afraid, but I'll give it a go. But Katharina Schnedel with a great rundown off that throw from Christina Obermeyer. And Box have another hold. So 5-5 here. As with the other game slots, I'll try and bring you the updates from other games. Shout 5-4 up on Jinx at the moment. Moon Cup, more surprisingly, 6-4 up on Yaka. While East Block are leading Iceni 4-1 at the moment. Christina Kluster already with 2 assists there. Yaka pull that back to 6-5 rather than 6-4. But this game is 5-5. JetSet coming out a little cold, getting broken immediately, and then broken again for a 3-1 deficit. But they've scored 3 in a row to bring it back to on serve. So JetSet out on offense, looking to go ahead. Box doing a good job of slowing down their flow here. It's pretty tough. Stack a long way away. But a nice cut there. And that shot goes up. Whenever they have some space deep, JetSet are just taking that shot. And that one hanging a little too much. Gave the defender time to get back at it. And Box now, their D-line with another opportunity to try and take a break and get themselves back in front. Looks like that's going to drift a little too far, but no. Good catch. Box keep it moving. Little give go. And the big throw goes up. Is that going to be on track? It's not. Oh, that's slightly risky knockaway. But the throw from Rottensteiner not quite on point. And Love immediately take a aggressive gainer to get themselves moving after that turn. There's a shot down the line. That looks like that's going to be a foul. It is a foul. Yeah, not intentional. Trying to come across to get the force set. But as the throw is about to go up, it just knocks it out of the offensive player's hands. So, Love on the sideline. Good break to get back in the field. Slight stumble there. Oh, but can't bring in that high one. And Box now have the opportunity to break quickly. And they get the disc moving. Oh, is there a call? There's an injury. There's an injury call. Bit of a frantic point here. Those changes in possession are happening very quickly. So we finally go back to a more static play. And the disc is reset. Box looking to get down the field. Nice dump cut. Plenty of space. There is a deep one open. Decide not to take that one though. It's undercut instead. Oh, good break. Open up the field. You can see the wind slightly affecting these throws. They're bouncing a little. Good quick hands. Moves Box all the way across the field. Back into center. Tight. Another one on that D. With De Bruyne. Goes back into the center of the field to Rottensteiner. Fakes the break. Instead comes to the near side. It's De Bruyne again. Goes backwards again. So it's Rottensteiner. Thought for a moment that throw was off track. I was just looking at the wrong receiver. But Kramer, not enough on it to get it to her receiver. And it is a turnover, and Love have it back again. And it looks as though that is a timeout called by Love. Frantic point, long point already. Not surprising they take a timeout. We'll all take a quick break, and I'll be back with you very shortly. Hello and welcome back to this game at the Elite Invite between LUV, the local team from Leuven, against Box from Vienna. Game's currently tied at 5-5. This has been a pretty long point. A few turnovers for both teams. Both teams struggling slightly in the what sounds like increased wind. There's been a few throws that have bounced up over receivers' heads. If you'd have been a little too far, LUV have dragged themselves back into this one with a 3-point run. They called the timeout and they are attacking from right to left wearing red. Come over to this near side. Nice inside break there. The space down there. Oh, turn it down just as the defender gets there. They're looking for space here. Move it back into the middle of the field. Slow going here, but they're making good decisions, taking their time. There's been a few times in this point where LUV have tried to shoot straight for the end zone. It hasn't quite worked. I say that. They shoot straight for the end zone there, and that works nicely. 6-5 to LUV. Kromhecker to Van Vick. And the Belgians are ahead again. Longest point of the game so far. That's 7.5 minute long point. Elsewhere, Moon Cup have taken half over Yaka. Be a very big result for the young Belgian team. While Shout and Jinx, the EUCS finalists last year, are tied at 5 in the other semi-final. In the other 5-8 bracket matchup, East Block lead Iceni 6-2. The Yaka Moon Cup result will be very interesting. Yaka won basically everything last year, other than EUCF. They won the Elite Invite. They won London Invite. I don't believe they went to Tom's, where Great Britain women beat Shout, but the tournaments they played, Yaka, they were very successful in, and they came third at EUCF. Obviously, that's by no means a bad outcome. But 8-6 down to Moon Cup at half there, as Box come out, looking to bring this game back even. Their offense is slowed considerably from what it was early in the game, where they were moving through nice and quickly. Good break to get back in the center of the field. There is a continuation there. That's turned down. Inside break turned down as well. Custer's having to grind upfield to get these yards. Nice reset, but there seems to be a call of some sort. Not sure if the disc is going to remain with Meyer. Looks like it will. So Meyer on the disc. Oh no. Violation. People getting the violation signal wrong. Should be fists, not open palms. Meyer. Oh, that's a lovely cut. In and out onto the break side to create space for the open. And then a good cut in the end zone as well. That's a nice point by Box. Their offense got a little bogged down in the middle there, with some good isolation cutting downfield. Works them down there, and they score for 6-6. It was a very nice cut from Strider to open up the space, and Ninaus with her second goal of the game. As the LUV O-line goes out to try and push themselves closer to taking half. But 6-6, tight game here. A lot of the games at this tournament have been tight. In pretty much every situation, it is the top 8 teams in Europe in each division. There's a few teams for whom there is an exception. Teams like Groot Women, who look to be one of the best teams in the division this year, but didn't exist as a women's team last year, so they are not eligible to come here. 3SB look like they've got a bounce-back season. Catch-up are playing well, but didn't finish high up enough here. Bristol and Troubles also looking pretty good early in the season. I assume, because they made the semis last year, that Troubles just couldn't make this tournament. I assume they would have had an invite. Women's division has a lot of very good teams this year. There's 3 teams I think that look maybe stronger than everyone else. Although Moon Cup beating Yaka, maybe that isn't the case. But there's a good block of teams underneath that, where people can take results off each other for sure. These 2 teams in that number. And it is 6-6, and that's just a miscommunication there. On a reset. North not quite finding the target she was aiming for. Nice break throw. Opens up the field for Box. A good scramble D by Love. Pens them back in. Box just moving it back and forth, trying to find an opening. Having to grind again in that cutter space. The handler's moving it fairly quickly. That break is open there. It's taken. There's another break there, but it's a good sag off by the mark. Another break. Good layout catch. Oh, and it's called an injury. Can't quite see who that is. Left her feet to make that catch. It was a very good catch. But has to call an injury post-landing. Who are we going to see on here for Box? We're going to see Seiler. Seiler comes on to pick that up. Right on the end zone line. So Box knocking on the door here. Looking for a reset. Not a huge amount available. Well, that's a very, very swirly throw, but it does get completed. Back to Seiler in the middle. Rottensteiner. Rottensteiner across the front of the end zone. Rottensteiner's open again. And there it is. That is a break for Box. Their first break since the 4th point of the game. Oh, there's a call of some kind. I don't know what the call would be that would stop that. I also see that that's 33, not 13. So that means that's not Rottensteiner. That's Paschinger. And there we go. It is retracted now. So the break for Box does count. Ninhaus finding Paschinger. Ninhaus getting in on the act with an assist rather than a goal. That's her first out of the game. And 7-6 now to Box. Momentum really swinging back and forth here. Started out with Box, then went to Love. Now back with Box. As they call a line to try and get a break that will take them to half. And they come out in the second half on offense. It looks like there must have been a timeout called here by Love. Box taking their time to discuss. Love all huddled up. Thought it was taking some time between points. I was wondering what the holdup was. Meanwhile, Jinx have taken a 2-point lead over BFD. Real gamer runs there as well. 2 in a row for Jinx, 3 in a row for Shout, and now 3 in a row for Jinx. So the Germans on top. 7-5. East Block 7-4 up on Iceni. They had a 4-point run there, and it's been trading since. And Yako now have pulled their game back to 8-8. As the pull goes up, and that pull is going to roll away from the handler. And after a good pull chase, Love are trapped on their own end zone line. They're standing a long way away there. They have to get a lot closer than that. Stella Fortry is jinking around trying to find space. Inside their own end zone. Looking for an option, and that is an option to nobody. Is there going to be a call there? That is a harsh call. The box player has no idea what's going on there. He's trying to change position. to stop an underneath cut. And because the Love player sees the disc come up, tries to run through her, basically, I see the perspective from the Love player, but I just don't know that that's really anything that could be avoided. I'm honestly not 100% sure she gets there in any case. Although I suppose if she's able to take a couple of power steps and bid for it, maybe, but some discussion going on here about what should happen. That is a contested foul. It's going back to the thrower. Peters thinks she'd have been able to get there. Some discussion about the stall count, I think. And here we go. We're back in. Nice break. Another nice break. Love make up. A lot of meters on that break side very quickly. Reset goes backwards. And a good inside throw. There's a pick called. This position doesn't quite make sense to me. The pick was that late, then surely the throw should still be with the disc, should still be with the receiver. But we play on. Oh, it's a nice break. Love really doing a great job of challenging the break side here, challenging the marks, making it as difficult as possible to guard them. Oh, but as I say that, one too many tough break throws taken on. Just a little too far in front of one receiver and not quite enough for the other. And now Box have it back with a chance to take half. Box center it. A lot of space and time for the thrower here. Goes with a reset. Again on the break side. There is a deep shot that's quite tightly guarded. That's a nice cut across and another good break throw. Both these teams doing a really good job using the break side. Looking for a reset now. It's fake back into the field. Inside throw, is that up? I'm not 100% sure that looked up to me. Sheck looks to be giving it up. Yeah, there we go. That's good spirit by everybody. Box unable to take that opportunity. Will Love be able to take their second opportunity? Great cut there. That's a pick. That's the definition of a pick there. It was a great cut, but the defender obstructed by her own player chasing after another Love player. Everyone's back in place and we are ready to go. More good cutting and another pick. The Love players are doing a good job cutting in isolation, but they're not doing a very good job of cutting together because they are getting in each other's way. Both those players have been open at separate points in this stretch. As that disc bobbles up in the wind, good concentration takes it down, and a good inside throw. Plenty of space over there. Gets them down the field. Peters spots it and takes it with a plum, and that's a... Oh, what a breakthrough. What a breakthrough. Looked like the defender was going to get close to it, but Krumhecker finds Della Fortri in the end zone to make that 7-7, and we are at Galaxy Point. Love going to be trying to go out on D and try and put this game on serve. Take half. Box will be coming out in the second half on offense. So it's quite a big point for the game situation here. Neither team has a timeout left, so we know we won't be getting a timeout. Both have taken 2 in this half. Mooncup back up on Yaka. Jinx still up on Shout. It's 9-8 to Mooncup, 7-6 to Jinx. And East Block have just taken half 8-4 against Iceni. It was 5-1 to East Block and the teams have traded since then. So the two semi-finals both within a point, and this game obviously tied. Final games of the day will be in the Open Division. We've got the two semi-finals there as well. Two more Belgian teams there. We're seeing LUV in action now. Belgian team from Leuven. Gentle from Ghent and Mooncatchers from Brussels will be in action in those semis. While JetSet Open, also from Leuven, will be in the 5-8 on field 3. So I'll be talking you through that one. They're playing Wall City from Berlin. We're back to this zone from LUV. This kind of passive 3-player cup to try and slow down Box's early play, and Obermeyer, that just bounces in and out of the hands. That's a tough one because that gives LUV a very short field to try and get the break to take them into half. So LUV right on the end zone line, looking for an option. Good defense on the first option. Now looking for a second one. Swings around the back. There's two people in front. There's not a lot of space to move there. There's going to be some inevitable picks called if we stay as like that. There's a call before the throw. It's not immediately clear what that was, but the disc goes back to where it was. Must be pretty late in the stall count. So discussion about positioning on this far side here. Now we're good to go. Tough inside throw is caught in the end zone. Both teams taking on some very challenging throws and executing them very nicely there, or in the first half. Scholten to Rybrook means JetSet take half, 8-7. Game back on serve. Box will be coming out after half on offense. And I'll be back with you in just a moment. Hello, and welcome back. Again, you might have left. I did. So welcome me back to the second half of this game between JetSet and Box. It's a 5-8 bracket game at the Elite Invite in Leuven. JetSet, with the benefit of home cooking, have taken half 8-7 over Box. Bit of a seesaw first half. Both teams getting breaks. Both teams having periods where they were on top. And an unfortunate drop by Box on the last point gave JetSet a short field, which they took very gladly. So it's 8-7 to the Belgians as we get underway with the second half. Back out with a zone by JetSet. This time it's a much more aggressive zone. They've been coming out with a 3-person cup, but this has a chase and a wall. Really trying to force errors. A defender running around with her hands in the air, just trying to get in the way, but doesn't get in the way of the catch. Big Hammer has opened the field up for Box, and we're now in match. Disc is in the center of the field. Moves over to the far side, just outside the end zone. That backwards throw. A give and go, and what a great layout catch. My. That close to the sideline. Nina's able to keep herself inbounds for the score is excellent work. It's her 3rd goal of the game. She is having a great game for Vienna. So 8-8 here. Elsewhere, Yaka were down 8-6 at half against Moon Cup, team from Brussels. Yaka have responded with a 4-1 run to start the second half, and they are now ahead 10-9. Aline Mondieu, for so long one of the best players in Europe, the leader of this Yaka team, has just thrown the assist to Aman Babakian, breakout player of the year in the women's division last year, to put Yaka ahead for the first time in the game. Jinx still up on Shout. That's still a 1-point game. It's still 7-6. And East Block continue to lead Iceni, although Iceni are coming back at them slightly. They've scored out of half to make it 8-5. So Box. Pull. JetSet moving the disc quickly, but that's just another slight execution error. Hits the turf before the receiver can get her hands on it. And now Box have an opportunity to score the 2nd point out of half and get their noses in front again. That one sailed well, or a little too far, but it's a good read. Turns down that break side. That's a great cut again. Loads of space on the open side. Oh, that is very unfortunate, because that was, I was about to say, wonderful D-line offense by Box. And the throw, nothing wrong with the throw by Schneiderl. Just a drop out of the hands of Krivda. Doesn't end up mattering immediately because that huck is to nobody. And Box have another opportunity immediately. Breakside momentum for Box. As I said at the end of the first half, both teams did a really good job challenging the mark in this game. So, travel called. Poach, and it's a good read to keep that disc moving. Oh, and another drop. Went for it with... Went to try and snatch it, but didn't work. And a timeout called by Box. Sorry, by JetSet. Timeout called by JetSet. After that 4th turnover of the point. We'll take a quick break while the teams discuss what they want to do. Hello, so Love called the timeout. And they are about to get started again to try and keep this game on serve. Trading. Both teams doing a good job of staying mentally in the game. There's been a few errors, but they've been shaking them off. Both teams playing hard. And both teams playing pretty well overall. So it's a really good plays from both. Really good throwing from both. Despite what looked like fairly tricky conditions. Love got some movement off that static disc. And they're now just off the middle of the field. Go down the line. Nice mark. Prevents that throw back into the center of the field. But a good reset gets them moving a little. They've got space downfield. Box are giving them quite a lot of lateral separation. The mark falls over. There's another one to the break side there, and one there that was turned down right in front. Instead comes backwards. That's Delafotri with the disc. Looking in the end zone. Again, the mark hits the deck, trying to prevent any options. Going for a score. Oh, that is a beautiful fake one way and then the other. Verek finds some space and finds Daban in the end zone. And puts JetSet up 9-8. 7-7 between Shout and Jinx. So that is a Galaxy point situation as well. You can catch that on the stream on another channel with full commentary. Yaka 11-10 up on Moon Cup. And Iceni fighting back against East Block. 7-9 now. East Block still winning, but Iceni have made that closer. Here, again, we are 9-8 to JetSet LUV in red. Box from Vienna in white. Down 1 point. But their offense has shown the capability to score quickly, and their defense has caused a lot of problems for the JetSet O-line. The pull comes up. That's a good pull. And a good pull chase. Box, no opportunities to make any quick yards. Back to this three-person slow down zone. Box go around it. But no continuation. We're in match now. That shot looks very flat. Oh, what a great catch. Is that in? Has been called not in. Stuck out a left paw and reeled that one in. What a great catch. But she is getting high on that stall count now. Looking for an option. And looks like that is a good option because that is a goal. Brandel with an absolutely fantastic catch. I thought that was going to be too far in front, too flat. Couldn't catch up to it, but no. She had other ideas, and Kramer gives her an option in the end zone to bring it to 9-9. And Jinx take half against Shout at the same time. It was a break by Shout, Chesky to Mascalani to bring it to 7-7, but Sarah Melvin with the assist to Anna Gerner, two Eurostars, two of the best players in Europe for a long time now, combining to send Shout into half with a deficit. Jinx ahead there. And Moon Cup have leveled it up against Yaka as well. That game is seesawing a bit too. Yaka had a 4-1 run coming out of half, but a good job by Moon Cup to steady the ship. 11-11, but Shout are trading up here. So Shout are up one break. In this game, we're at 9-9, and we have had breaks for both teams because we are on serve. Box back to this more aggressive zone, and I was about to say Love sliced through it, but that one's just a little too high. think the option was a good one, it's just the execution wasn't quite there. And now Love have done a good job of shutting down Box, but that's a very good break throw. Not many options downfield for the Austrians here. They're really struggling to get some movement, but that's a nice angle, and that deep shot could go, and has gone, but that's too flat. We're going to see that zone again. We are indeed. Goes over the top. That looks good to me. Loads of space. There's a person on this far side, or the near side as we look at it. With the camera, it would have been a very difficult throw. Love come across the field. 2 more over this way as well. Back to match for Box. Good catch up high. Love certainly finding space and attacking it well downfield. They're making good meters every time they try. Really good inside throw. It's slowed down a lot here. Break side options are the only options that the Love offense has. Good handler D, and that is down. Got tipped, held up in the wind, and knocked away by Rottensteiner, I think. Not a huge amount happening in that box stack again, and Love knocked that away. And Love go straight to the end zone with a deep shot, and it's reeled in despite the defensive pressure. Very close to getting it blocked there. Had to be good concentration from Kromhicker. But Verek completes that one. That is her 5th assist of the game, and Kromhicker with 5 total stats, 2 assists and 3 goals for her. As JetSet go up 10-9. The pace of this game slowed ever so slightly. Not going on as quickly as Mooncup and Yaka. They're at 12-12 now. 24 points already. We've only been going for just over an hour. So those points are going in very, very quickly. And the pull comes up from Love. This with Obermeyer in the center. Back to this 3-person couple. There was a chase there, and that's another mistake by Box right outside their own end zone. And Love with another short field opportunity to get a break and really turn the screw here. They're going with a 1-6 setup. Peters on the disc. Has an option there, but that's a tough throw. Nice reset cut. Oh, and that just can't be reeled in. That's a drop. That hurts, given the situation that Love found themselves in. Obermeyer goes to pick it up. Not really sure what the discussion is there. And we go again. JetSet trying to get this zone set on the sideline. Obermeyer with the disc. Obermeyer goes forward, and again, that's a turnover. Love with the disc now, with another opportunity, another short field opportunity. Throw goes up, and it's completed in the back corner. Great placement there. That is a very tough throw to make, but Rybrook puts it on a plate for Van Helmerick. And that is a decisive lead now for Love. That is the first time they've been ahead by more than 1, I think, in the whole game. They came all the way back, did a good job of that. But Box have been hanging in there. But this time, 2 turnovers just outside their own end zone. Just from execution errors, and Love now in a very strong position. Getting fairly late in this game. 65 minutes gone. Only 15 minutes left. Love need 4 more points. Yaka and Mooncup continue to trade. Yaka now 13-12 up. And Jinx have stretched their lead against Shout. Looks like it was a hold out of half by Shout, and then a hold by Jinx and a break by Jinx. So they are now 10-8 up. As Box work through that zone nicely. They've got some positive momentum there. As Love appear to be going back into match now. Yeah, they're back in match there. Lovely cut across the front. That's an option to the front corner. Yeah, there we go. Nice offensive point by Box. At a point where they really needed it. That's a good solid hold. So now the question is, can that D-line come out? Make it tough on JetSet and try and get back in this one. Siler spotting Brandel in the back corner there. Coming across the back of the end zone and was about to have space in the back corner. She threw it before it became immediately clear that there was loads of space, but it was a good spot, good anticipation, and good execution of, as I say, pretty tough throw in breezy conditions. See in the background of the game going on, 4 fields at this site, and there is a game going on each of those fields pretty much all day. 3 divisions, 8 teams each. Just means that each slot is for a different division. Pretty simple tournament structure, really. Very helpful when you're following it. Quite helpful when you're commentating as well. I can give you updates on the other games going on in the same division. Games that you are more likely to have an interest in, I suppose, as a fan of the women's division in this particular case. Another good pull by Box. Rolling out again. They've done a really good job of those. Trying to pin Love on the sideline. Peters gets there and he's able to get it off the sideline. It's just match. They're not going back to one of those zones now. It's just straight person on person trying to stop the player in front of you. But Love do a good job working down the field. That around is there but not taken. Comes inside instead. That's a good shot to the middle, and that is a big shot to the end zone. That's floating. That was going to bounce over somebody, and the 2 Box players might collide, but instead they both get a hand on it and knock it away. And now Box have an opportunity, again, to even this one up. Their D-line couldn't execute that last time around. Must be a called play there. The 2 people on the front of that box stack both doing the same thing. Both curling onto the break side. But now the stack's not really in position. We've got a lot of people moving around. Good dump defense by Love. Box having to work very hard to just grind 2 or 3 yards every time. That break on. Nice continuation, but that's too far. That's too far. Again, the right option by Box, but tired legs, tired minds out there. Making some mistakes as we go through the game here. Peters picks it up. Love still in this 1-6. Oh, and that's straight through the hands as well. Love in the same situation. Just some concentration errors from both teams here. It's a nice day in Leuven. And playing so many games at such a high standard must be pretty draining. And that is a good catch D by JetSet. Rybrook reeling it in. Peters. Delafortry has an option deep if she wants it. Instead goes back to the middle of the field. She's open again. It's a lovely cut. Again, there's an option deep. Oh, but the deep option came under. What a lovely break that is. Lovely inside break. Delafortry coming up to provide support from behind. Peters goes back. Peters tells everyone what she wants of them, and Delafortry gets open on that side. continues that on the break side into the end zone. And that is a tough hold for Love. Van Dam in the end zone. You can see the players on that line, hands on their knees. That was a lot of work, a lot of running. And Love preserve their 2-point advantage. No real changes in the other games. 13-12 to Yaka, 10-9 to Jinx, and 10-8 to East Block over Iceni. So all within 1 or 2 points. You would imagine this is going to be very interesting for the rankings. These games all being so tight means these teams are all pretty closely matched. So Box getting ready to receive this one. Up goes the pull. Another good pull. Box only with time to get one pass forward before the D's on them, and it's another one of those limiting 3-person cup zones. Box having to go backwards to find space. There's a lot of space behind this. There's 6 players and 1 deep, and you can see there's 2 box players around that deep. Box not making many yards here. Even this throw here, where there's a space while the wall is getting there, there's no box player in the vicinity to take advantage of it. That's what they need. Move it and you take advantage of the space. Much better zone offense there from Box. Player on this very near side to the camera, totally open if they want to use her. That's not in, but right on the end zone line. And she was open the whole way, all the way down. Steinhauser, no one anywhere near her. In the end, she was not needed because Ninaus again finds Kramer. Ninaus with 5 stats on the board. Kramer with her second goal. It's 12-11 now to the Belgians. There's Jinx and East Block. Both score 1 more. Jinx up by 2 on Shout and East Block up by 3 on Iceni. It's been a very good performance here by Love. Going down after about 30 seconds of the game is always tough mentally to come back from, especially when you get broken then again a few points later. But they've done a very good job of staying calm, executing the plan. They've been pretty aggressive with the disc. They made a few errors, usually on those underthrows. The deep throws, much more difficult. A couple of them haven't come off, but the decision-making is probably some that they'll live with, despite the fact not all of them come off. Just because the risk-reward is so high, and Box's D-line has struggled to kind of go all the way down the field after those hucks. Box, on the other hand, stuttered a bit offensively, particularly in the middle part of the game. Is that going to come back in? I don't know if that came back in. I don't believe it did because I see Box players walking backwards. So that is going to come in on the front cone. And when you are doing a bladey pull to try and roll it out the side of the pitch to set up a zone, this is the risk you take, because that Box player was literally a meter away from the cone. So there we are talking about right on the end zone line here. So here we go. This comes in for Love. Peters goes up the line, comes into the middle of the field. Peters, well, that's a nice cut from Peters. Can't quite drag her toe in. She's looking for something. And a lovely break. Lovely break. Pieces has really been running this offense very well. Done a really good job. Van Dam, open yet again. She scored 4 goals. Pieces has thrown 2, but she's had. Her fingerprints have been all over this game. Offensively, she's really been the metronome for what Love have been trying to do. Always open, always available, always making good decisions. Jinx now stretch their leads against Shout. They have a break. So they're 12-9 up. Yaka have another break against Moon Cup. They go 14-12 now. 1 point away from the final. Moon Cup needs to score 3 to take their place. And Iceni back to within 2 against East Block. So both of the 5-8 semis within 2. We see JetSet 13-11 up on Box. And East Block are 11-9 up on Iceni. Still only 76 minutes or so gone here, so I would imagine the very strong likelihood is we're going to be playing this game to 15. Box with a nice gainer. But struggling here. Nice catch on the dump. And that is a shot to the end zone. Too far, too far, too far. You could see the angle wasn't 100% right. Pashinger just put it a little too far out in front. And the receiver was always struggling to catch up to it. And Love with an opportunity here to push it and make it even more difficult for the Box to come back in this game. Love on their own end zone line. Not really much happening downfield for Love. That's a nice break and pop off. Back in the center of the field now. Another dump cut open. It's just these give and goes back into the middle are working really well for Love at the moment. Space on the break side if needed, but that underneath could have gone. Ooh, close to a block. Love is setting up these wide angles and then cutting back across the front of the stack after doing that. So they're getting a lot of joy in the middle, but once Box kind of realize that and start trying to stay on the back shoulder, it becomes very, very difficult to find space. And that throw just too far in front. And Box have the disc back. Box now looking for an option. It's a nice move, but that long shot is not coming. Instead, it's in the backfield. There is deep option on again, but that's not going. Little bounce, and that is taken down. Taken down, dropped. By the Love player, but it's not going to make a difference to possession. Never really had full control of it. That was a little bit of a wild pass, but goes anyway. And Love with a great opportunity here. That centering pass turned down. That centering pass turned down. And then a throwaway afterwards. That disc really did have to go into the middle. Already getting high in the stall count. So tough to play like that from the sideline. Nice inside shot from Box. Again, deep option there. This time it is taken. That's going to sit in the air. That's a lovely throw. That's a lovely throw. And a hold Box. And an important time for them. That's 13-12 now. Pashinger to Schneidel. And it looks as though, as I said, I could see a game to 15 happening here. That point was a little longer than some of the previous points. In fact, it was the longest point since the last time we had a timeout. And time went during that point. So it is a game to 14. So this offensive point for Love now is a point for the game. So a big one for Box. They need to score 2 to go through to the 5th place game. Yaka have beaten Mooncup 15-12. Jinx are up 13-10 on Shout. And East Block are up 11-9 on Iceni. So Box. No, this point is a must-have for them. Another good pull puts Love in their own end zone. And looks like there's somebody who didn't quite have their assignment right. Love, get onto the break side. It's with Delafotri. Delafotri is in the middle of the field. There's a break pass there. That break pass goes. Peters is in position for the dump, but instead, over the shoulder is thrown. It's another mistake by Love. It gives Box an opportunity. They haven't been able to take those opportunities so far. Love's O-line D has been extremely good in the second half. As they drop into a zone here. That's an extremely aggressive shot that's not going to work. Knocked it out of the air. And Love's O-line again able to get it back off Box and give themselves a second chance to win the game. Pieces on the disc. Looking for an option. Nothing in front. That deep shot could go. Instead, we get a nice reset. Again, another speculative one that doesn't quite complete. Box have another opportunity themselves. Love into match this time. Not dropping into that zone. And that dump cut is just not giving the thrower what she needs because she's had to take a deep shot again. And that is not going to complete. Messy point here with the two teams definitely looking a bit tired. Because the decision making has not been as clear as it would have been earlier in the game. That's nice though. JetSet turning down some throws here, but they're trying to be as clinical as they can. Piece is cutting into space that was already filled and can't quite get there. Had to navigate another body. Jinx 13-11 up on Shout. Time has gone there as well. East Block 12-9 up on Iceni, and time has gone there as well. So all the games coming to a close in the women's division semis. Box again with a deep shot, this time much less on it, and it's much more precise, and they get what they want out of it. They're just outside the end zone now. They need this one to send this game to Universe Point. Moving it around the end zone. Not even looking at the end zone there, just trying to be as safe as possible, but that is a long way back. Lost a lot of yards on that pass. Turns down the inside shot. They're being patient. They're taking the right options. You can hear some sideline from the JetSet Open players, I think, and that is a D by Love. Just trying to catch the number there of who knocked that away. Looks like it was Van Gerven. That is a brutal outcome for Box. They were almost being too precise, too calm. And they needed to really start trying to push the disc towards Love's end zone. But that said, Peters, who's been so good all game, too much on that one. The angle's not right, and it's another chance for Box. So both teams looking tired. Love looking a little nervous here as well. This would be their first win of the tournament, but Box giving it straight back. This has been a high-quality game up to this point, but at this point, both teams struggling. So Peters with the disc again. Good D from Box, shutting down a lot of the options. De La Futry. And back to Peters. Peters rips it deep. There's time, there's space. There it is. That is the win for Love. They are in the game for 5th place. Box will be in the 7-8. Fitting that Charlotte Peters threw that final point. She has been so good all game. A great win for Love, their first of the tournament. Disappointing for Box. They had opportunities to win it. Just the execution let them down late in the game there. Late in the first half and late in the second half were really the points where their execution kind of wavered and they weren't able to take advantage of the opportunities Love presented them. But great effort by both teams. And well done to Love, who will go and play for 5th tomorrow. I will take a quick break and leave you here and be back to bring you the next game on this pitch, which is the Open Division. I believe it is Wall City against JetSet Open. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly. But for now, that's it for this game of the Women's Division. And I will speak to you all in a moment.